Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am your host, Jonathan West, and welcome to the final edition of the Howler for the regular season of another Sanford Coyotes football year. It is that time of the year, folks, the final regular season game of the season. But before we go over this week's game against Western Michigan, let's take our final look at the recruiting process that is still going on here with Sanford. Byron Girard, arguably the biggest name we've been talking about all season, and the top name from what I know on Coach Wolf and company's board. He's got a visit with Boston College this week. A lot of expectations are that this battle between Boston College and Sanford could go into the offseason, which I personally believe favors the Coyotes. Hopefully it does, because I could see a lot of these young talented guys going into the off season, and possibly that being where Sanford's able to talk them into coming. But we'll see how things go, as the 13th ranked receiver in the nation, Josh Williams, still arguing for a spot at Texas A&M. So far, that conversation seems to be going nowhere. He still is interested in Sanford, but I think unless he hears a definitive no scholarship offer from Texas A&M, the interest in Sanford will always be below the Aggies. So we'll watch that as things progress, but right now it seems like until there's word from the Aggies, Sanford's going to be number 2 at best to Williams. But, I mean, number 2 is not bad when you've got a kid with that much talent. The off-the-field issues are a concern with Williams. And, of course, we'll talk about later on John Scott, the number 1 quarterback in the nation. So even if they were to come to Sanford, definitely would have to keep eyes on them throughout the entire season. The next man to talk about is another big-name recruit. We've talked about him plenty this year, and he's arguably been kind of a fan favorite, and he hasn't even stepped onto a field for any college football team, and that is Samson Stratton, the athlete out of Ohio. He's got a visit with the Florida Atlantic Owls this week. It's a lot of talk that it's a 3-team race right now for him. The Owls of Florida Atlantic, his more hometown Miami of Ohio Redhawks, who, if they can win this week, will win the MAC East and be headed on to the MAC Championship. And, of course, Sanford currently leading from what I've heard. But it's anybody's race right now. Hopefully this is another prospect that could maybe head into the offseason. Another man to talk about is Marvin Clark, the athlete out of Martinsville, Virginia. The young man who a lot of people, I would think, would love to see him at quarterback here for Sanford. Seems to be really all eyes on the Coyotes if he were to commit now. But it sounds like he's going to wait a bit. He might not make a decision until the offseason. We'll see how things go there. As for John Scott, the quarterback I talked about earlier with the off-the-field issues that have arisen here in his senior year in high school, he hasn't had a lot of interest from scholarships, at least. A lot of that has come from Sanford, and he's realizing that now. So we'll be watching that definitely as the offseason comes into play. Jeremy Williams, the young man that I personally believe would make a great safety here for the Coyotes, finally kind of on the same boat as Scott. He's kind of really jumping ahead with the Coyotes, and it sounds like Williams is kind of put full steam ahead with coming here to Sanford. The Pat Lewis situation, we've talked about him for the past couple weeks. It hasn't really changed. He's still waiting to hear from Oklahoma. I've got a feeling he's not going to hear a scholarship come his way. So hopefully he turns to Sanford. He'd be a big weapon not only in the receiving corps but other areas of the football field. And finally, the tackle, Wayne Nobles. Right now, it's a two-team race, seemingly, between the University of Nevada and Sanford. The young tackle out of Hawaii would be a development project, but he'd be a great guy to bring in. It looks like that could go to the offseason as well. Now, one man who's made a decision is Antonio Perkins. As expected, he is headed to Oregon State, staying on the West Coast as he has committed. So Sanford loses out on that tight end for the year. But nonetheless, it looks like it's going to be a hell of a fight come the offseason for Sanford to get a lot of recruits. So let's take a look at the bowl projections, and from what I'm seeing here, it looks like the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl is going to be where Sanford right now will be playing. And right now they're saying they're going to host the Ole Miss Rebels. So that's an interesting matchup there, some SEC competition, something we haven't seen Sanford go through just yet. So if that were to be the final bowl game, it'd be an interesting one to say the least, and I'd be very interested in seeing that matchup. Players of the week for last week, it's Paul Ingram of Western Michigan. We'll be seeing him and talking more about him later on here in the program. And quarterback James Morgan of Bowling Green. He had a big day with that win over the Ohio Bobcats. So a big day for both men. Paul Ingram having an interception on his day. So that's something definitely to watch this week, I'm sure. As let's talk about the conference standings going into the biggest week of the season when it comes to these standings. As it stands, Miami of Ohio is on top, Sanford right on their tail. That's really all you need to know about this whole situation. It's Miami of Ohio versus Sanford. If Miami loses, Sanford can jump them. If Sanford loses or Miami wins, it's Red Hawks game to lose at that point. So this week's matchup for the Red Hawks against, I believe they face Ball State, is going to be a huge matchup. It's going to be one we have to keep our eyes on, and if we have to, we'll cover it if we get any updates in during the game. So we'll definitely be watching that one as things go on. Actually, I'm looking at the schedule here, and that game will be over by the time Sanford plays Western Michigan at 8 o'clock. So it's a 1 o'clock kickoff time for Miami and Ball State. So we will know the finish to that game before Western Michigan and Sanford kick off. I'll let you folks know what that game ended at the beginning of this weekend's contest. And that will really kind of seal what this week's game is. So we got to wait until we learn the end of that game before we really get into how big Western Michigan and Sanford's going to be. But let's start talking about that matchup, Western Michigan and Sanford. It's a matchup we've seen in a couple years now. And these two teams, it's almost turning into an NIU-Sanford situation. These two teams fight each other hard year in and year out. It's really become, I'd say, if you want to put a rivalry to challenge the NIU rivalry here in the MAC, I would put Western Michigan right under that. These two teams have kind of become a little bit entangled in a feud ever since Sanford showed up. So it means a lot for both schools here. Western Michigan just trying to cap off and finish off the West as they're coming off a 3-game win streak. So they're looking for win number 4 on this streak of theirs. Sanford, on the other hand, they're looking to win the East, possibly a 10-game season, possibly a 10-win season, and they're coming off of 2 games or a 2-game winning streak to battle out from that Ball State loss. So they're looking to finish with a win, possibly 10 wins this season, and maybe, just maybe, winning that MAC East. it is a huge game for the Coyotes. I'd say bigger than for Western Michigan. Yes, Western Michigan's fighting for the West, but it's anybody's game there with them and NIU. It's a two-man race. This is huge for Sanford, who really, I think, had the East wrapped up earlier this year. But of course, the players to watch, and we'll talk more about him here in just a bit, is quarterback Tom Flacco. Bogan, the running back, is a guy to watch. We already saw and talked about Ingram, the linebacker, who was player of the week last week in a great showing. And of course, for Sanford, we're always going to be watching Joe Irvin, who's got 8 sacks this season. See if he can get double digits this week. Claude Fleming in that running game. And of course, senior Richard Cruz, who has had an unbelievable senior season with 5 interceptions. So it's going to be a game to watch. Tanner Patrick always going to be watched for possible interception issues. So that's been the, seeming theme this year. But let's talk more about Western Michigan's team as we'll talk about senior Tom Flacco, younger brother to Ravens Joe Flacco. Convenient since I'm now covering the Ravens down in Baltimore now. So that's a very convenient situation. I know about the Flaccos. Now, Tom, I would say not as good as his brother. Now, that's not taking anything away from Tom. I think he's a talented player, but he's no Joe right now. He's got to get better, but he is a deadly, deadly passer in this Western Michigan offense. But that can't be taken away from the running back, Jamori Bogan. Now, Bogan's a speedster, 5'7", 193, and that's what this team's got to watch out for. They're not going to run a lot, more than likely, but if they do, you can't get relaxed. If this team gets relaxed and they let Bogan kill him with the speed, it's going to be a ton of points coming the way of the Western Michigan Broncos. On the defensive side of the football, it's Eric Asua, who's had 6.5 sacks this season. He is a guy we've got to definitely watch out for, and hopefully that the offensive line can hold at bay. He's had a very good season, and I expect him to continue that this week. So this offensive line has to play well. They cannot be giving up easy sacks. They cannot be letting up a lot of pressure, especially with Tanner Patrick and how iffy he has been this week. Hopefully, the offense sticks to the run game like they did 2 weeks ago when they had their best game of the season. Another guy, of course, to look out for is Paul Ingram. We talked a little bit about him and his Player of the Game award, and he's had an absolutely unbelievable year as well. 4.5 sacks, of course, the interception he got last week, and 7 pass deflections. That is a lot for a linebacker. So he is able to get a hand up and get in the middle of those passing lanes. So those short passes may not be a thing, and that's what Tanner Patrick is good at when it comes to throwing the football. So that's going to be something to watch. Talking about throwing the football, we've got to talk about the number 1 corner here at Western Michigan in Obi Jackson. He's had a solid year, especially when it comes to interceptions. He's got 4 on the year, and that doesn't bode too well for Tanner Patrick if he looks the way of Jackson. He's got 11 pass deflections and even 2 quarterback sacks on his season. So he's had a good year, and he's a guy that we're definitely going to watch because he's going to be matched up on Herb Fellows, the senior, all day long. So it's going to be an interesting situation to say the least, and I do think this team needs to keep the ball on the ground if they want to win. They got to play like they did 2 weeks ago. Forego the passing attack and just run the football. As one last man to talk about, strong safety Justin Tranquil, the junior. He's got half sack on a season, matches Obi Jackson with 4 interceptions. And he's averaged 7 pass deflections each season. His last 2 seasons have been unbelievable, just as this year has. So, it's a solid secondary. Once again, just emphasizing the point of they should run the football down the Broncos' throats. It's a big game, folks. Arguably the biggest of the season, with a lot on the line. And these seniors may be playing their final game in the MAC Conference as Coyotes. A lot of big things on the line this week, and that's been all the time we've had for the Howler this week. Thank you, folks, for listening. I've been Jonathan West. This has been the Sanford Sports Radio, and we will see you this weekend as the Sanford Coyotes head to Michigan to face the Western Michigan Broncos. Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West, and it is game day here in Kalamazoo at Waldo Stadium as the Sanford College Coyotes face the Western Michigan Broncos in the final game of the Coyotes season. Now, before we get talking about this game, the final came in earlier today of Miami of Ohio against Ball State. And that final is 2017 Miami of Ohio victorious. The Red Hawks will be headed to the MAC Conference Championship. They have won the East. Sanford is now fighting for a 10-win total season. That's what's now on the line, as the Sanford team has not heard the news. They have kept themselves shut off from that game. They didn't want to know the final until after this game's finish. So, you folks are hearing it before the men down there on the field. So these young men are going to fight their hearts out, thinking they still can make it to the MAC Championship. As we are underway, Sammy Carter boots it away as Ekwoj takes the knee, as the Western Michigan Broncos will take over on offense to begin this day. Tom Flacco in the shotgun with Bogan to his right. He'll take the snap, connect with Curtis, but he can't hang on. That's going to fall incomplete. McIntyre was right there for a big hit when need be. 2nd and 10. As Flacco to throw, he connects with Eskridge, and that is an 18-yard reception as Deshaun Hollis able to bring down Eskridge, but that is a big gain and a first down for the Western Michigan Broncos to start. 1st and 10 as Flacco looks to throw, still out of the shotgun. That's Watson, Keyshawn Watson, the number 1 receiver here for the Broncos. That's a 13-yard gain and a first down. As Flacco looks to throw again, they're running some no huddle here. Flacco trying to take off. He won't go anywhere. A loss of 3. That is James Bryant on the sack. He has played outstanding this year, and he is going to lead that linebacking core next year, and it's going to be huge. He has got to lead that team with McLaughlin graduating at the end of the season. It's going to be fun to watch next season. 2nd and 13. Flacco gets tipped up there. He wanted a screen, but I believe Hollis got his hands on it. As that's 3rd and 13 now. Still in the shotgun is Flacco as he's going to take the snap. Looking to throw. He was moving in the pocket. Had to throw it away. 4th and 13 as they force the punt. 1st and 10 here for the Sanford offense as they begin on the ground. And it should be a lot of that. Claude Fleming, 5-yard rush there. Should be a lot of Claude Fleming and Tyrone Jennings today, I would hope. As 2nd and 5, they go back to the ground game. And Fleming can only pick up 2. Not a lot of room there. So they'll bring up, though, a manageable 3rd and 3. Jennings checks in as they hand off to Jennings out of the shotgun for the draw. That'll only gain 1, though, so it's a quick 3 and out for Sanford as Western Michigan takes back over. 1st and 10 out of the shotgun for the Broncos. Flacco connects with Anton Curtis. That has an 8-yard reception, and that's going to put them in a good position as the no huddle begins again. 2nd and 2, the screen goes to Keyshawn Watson, That is a gain of 1. 3rd and 1 coming up here for the Broncos. 3rd and 1, still in the shotgun with the no huddle. And it's a handoff to Bogan. He's got the first down and more, gain of 4. As that will mean a new set of downs for the Broncos here. They still continue this no huddle as Flacco takes the snap, connects with Bogan on the check down. That will get him 8 yards as Bogan found a little bit of room. 2nd and 2 as Flacco takes off on an option, and that's going to be a gain of 6. Enough for the first down for Western Michigan. I don't think anybody saw that coming. 1st and 10, Flacco to throw, connects with his tight end. That is Broersma. I've always had an issue with his name. Broersma, I believe is how it's pronounced. That is going to be another 8-yard gain as Flacco takes off on another option, and that is a big gain. 16 yards as he took a shoulder from Richard Cruz. Big first down for Western Michigan as it's 1st and 10 near the 20 as that is Borsch, as Borsch gets a 14-yard reception. As it's now 1st and 10. They can get a first down and around the 2-yard line as Ekwaj gets the carry as Leo Ekwaj with a 9-yard gain. 2nd and 1, still in the shotgun with the no huddle. Handoff goes to Ekwaj, and that is in. Touchdown Western Michigan as the Broncos strike first in this one. 3 minutes and 33 seconds remain here in the first quarter. Bradford, the man in motion here on first down for Sanford as they go back to the ground game. Claude Fleming. It has been 4 straight runs as that is a 7-yard gain for Fleming. 2nd and 3 in the pistol. They're going to go option themselves as Tanner Patrick finds enough room for a 4-yard gain and a new set of downs for the Coyotes. 1st and 10, and it looks like they're finally throwing out of the full house. Patrick connects with Tyrone Jennings. 12-yard reception. As he had to throw that right as he got hit. That was a good play by Patrick as they go play action on the next play. Over the middle, that's Herb Fellows. 24-yard reception, and that is the big play you want to see out of the senior receiver. Possibly his last game in the MAC conference as a Coyote. Or I'm sorry, it will be his last game as we know the final from the Miami, Ohio game. As Jennings with a 3-yard run on first down. That's going to bring up 2nd and 3 now. They go into the I form. Handoff goes to Jennings, who stayed in the ball game. He fights off of one would-be tackle, but that's only a gain of 2. Brought down by Obi Jackson. 3rd and 5 now as Patrick under center. He's going to drop back. Looking for the slant as he rolls out, extends the play, but it's picked off. That is Grace with the interception. He wanted his intended target, Rob Thomas. But once again, it's an issue that's been just plaguing Patrick all season long. He's forcing throws he shouldn't. They just need to keep the ball on the ground as it's now a big play there by Western Michigan. Hunter Borisma with a big 30-yard gain. 1st and 10 now for Western Michigan running this no huddle. As Flacco to throw. He's going to go down though. That's Pat Riley. A sack for 6 yards as Riley came in on the safety blitz. And Flacco couldn't connect with a man quick enough. 2nd and 16 as this is possibly the last play of the first quarter. They set up a screen as Bogan gets the reception and he will gain around 8 yards. As that takes us to the end of the first quarter, folks. Western Michigan on top early. 7-0 as Sanford fighting to try and get 10 wins this season. We'll have more here as you're listening to the Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. It's 7-0 Western Michigan on top. I'm Jonathan West. And Flacco to throw here connects with Keyshawn Watson on third down. That is a 12-yard reception and more than enough for the first. As 1st and 10 after the no huddle, Flacco checks it down to Bogan, swings it out to Bogan. And that's going to be enough for the first. He fought for those 10 yards. They continue the no-huddle offense as Flacco goes to the screen for Anton Curtis. That'll be a gain of 9 as Curtis is having a good start to the game. 2 receptions for 17 yards. 2nd and 1 now as the no-huddle continues. Flacco hands off to Bogan. He's going to find enough room. He fought for it and got the first down. It's a gain of 3. Western Michigan just driving at this point as Flacco gets hit as he gets the ball just out of his hands. Richard Cruz came in on that. 2nd and 10 here as Flacco looks to throw. Nate Ginn almost got there in time as that's going to go incomplete. That was pretty much just thrown away. 3rd and 10 as Flacco to throw. Looking for his man. He gets hit as he throws. Intercepted. Dustin Jordan in the end zone. The freshman corner with the pick. A big interception by Dustin Jordan as that will give Sanford an opportunity here as they'll take over. Keeping it on the ground with Claude Fleming. A gain of 3 as he was running to the right side. 2nd and 7 here. Patrick under center. Man in motions Fellows. They go with that end around. The end around to Herb Fellows can only gain him 3 yards as there wasn't a lot of room. And Fellows doesn't have killer speed on that end around. 3rd and 4 though. It's a pass and that's Herb Fellows through the air. 20-yard reception for the senior. As a big first down for Herb Fellows, as that's going to put them in a good position here to keep going on the ground now. As 1st and 10, they do go to the ground as Claude Fleming just getting away from tacklers. That was an 11-yard gain, enough for the first. He ran through a small hole too. Nice run there from Fleming. Tyrone Jennings now checks in as he can only gain 1 on the next carry. It's been a tough start so far for Jennings. 2nd and 9. It's an option call as Patrick keeps it. It's a 4-yard rush off the power option. That'll bring up 3rd and 5. It's manageable though. 3rd and 5. They're going to the option. That's Patrick taking off. He's got room. He gets caught up on the block from Fellows. That's going to be enough, though. 16-yard first down. Now play action. Here's Patrick to throw. He connects with Deron Costello. 21 yards down to the 1. A huge first down, and you can argue with a better throw. That's a touchdown, but he threw it as he was getting hit, so best we could get from Patrick there. 1st and goal handoff. Claude Fleming, touchdown Coyotes, as a 1-yard touchdown for Claude Fleming today. That will tie this game up, pending, of course, the extra point. As Western Michigan takes back over. Flacco to throw. It's intercepted. Richard Cruz, number 6 on the season. No one in front of him. 10-5 touchdown Coyotes. That is a pick 6. And pick number 6 for Richard Cruz. You can't call it more magic than that. A pick 6 on pick number 6 for Richard Cruz on the season. Absolutely phenomenal. What a way to cap off the regular season for this senior. He's had an absolutely great season. 1st and 10, man in motion is Bogan as Flacco to throw. Looking to run now. He finds room. He's going to slide down after an 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2 now as Flacco in the shotgun still. He's going to hand off to Bogan. Bogan takes it up the middle on the draw, and that's going to be a big 12-yard gain. Enough for another Western Michigan first down in midfield. First and 10 as Flacco takes the snap. Wide open downfield is Watson. That was some broken coverage as Keyshawn Watson with a huge 50-yard touchdown. There had to be some miscommunication there on the defense's part. Either a broken coverage or just an extremely bad call by defensive coordinator Mark Riley, because Watson was wide open, and that's going to tie this ball game up. It's 14-14 as Patrick sets up a screen here for Tyrone Jennings. That is a gain of 8 there. Good game for Jennings as he hasn't found a lot of room so far today. 2nd and 2 now in the shotgun. Just under 2 minutes left in the ball game. The catch goes to Fleming as Fleming fights through one tackle, fights through a second. He's finding room, and that's 27 yards on that reception. Claude Fleming now getting it done through the air here, as Fleming having a very, very good day as he shows off that power twice on that play. 1st and 10 still in the shotgun are the Coyotes. It's Patrick to throw. And that one's intercepted. It was another forced throw. That was intended for Herb Fellows as Obi Jackson gets the interception. That's number 5 on the year for Jackson. As that's just a poor play. Patrick shouldn't have done it. He knows he shouldn't have thrown it. I'm sorry, that was intended for Tremaine Dingle, not Herb Fellows. And it's just another situation where the defense has to play better than the offense today, it seems. As Curtis with a 9-yard reception there for Western Michigan. As they still have 1:17 to run with here. Western Michigan took their first time out as that is a bobble there by Watson, falls incomplete. And that will bring up 3rd and 1. Under center is Flacco. Man in motion as Flacco connects with Wilkerson as tight end. That is enough for the first down. 14-yard catch on that one. 1st and 10 with 1:08 remaining. Flacco to throw. Swings it out to Bogan. He's brought down after no gain. He got right back to the line. 2nd and 10 here. Less than 50 seconds remain as they still have to get in their spots. Flacco finally throws. That's Bogan. And that's going to be a 9-yard gain. Sets up a manageable 3rd and 1 situation. Flacco to throw again quickly. And he connects with Stanley. Mike Stanley, an 8-yard touchdown reception. As the passing game has worked well for Western Michigan, they take the lead back. As Patrick looks to throw, but he gets brought down. A 6-yard loss by Eddie Cole. As Patrick was trying just to find somebody, he couldn't find anybody to throw to. And that's simply what's going to happen every single time. That takes us to halftime. As it's 21-14, Sanford's down right now. They got to play better in the second half. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. It is the start of the second half of play here as Patrick can't go anywhere on the option. He keeps it, but they sniffed it out quickly. A loss of 1. That was Ingram on the tackle. It's 21-14, Western Michigan on top right now. As 2nd and 11, the handoff goes to Antoine Bradford, the fullback. 7-yard gain is that'll make it a manageable 3rd and 4 now. Bradford, the man in motion, as they're going to go to the ground for Fleming. He took a shot, as that'll only be a 2-yard gain. The offense, though, still out there as they hand off to Fleming. Good blocks upfield by Tremaine Dingle, and that is a big first down. What a risk by Coach Wolf and offensive coordinator Drew Martin. A risk on 4th and 2, and it worked out. 1st and 10. Play action by Tanner Patrick. He's rolling to his right here. Finds more time as that's Tremaine Dingle with a 17-yard catch. Big first down there, as that's the first catch of the day for Dingle. Speaking of Dingle, 1st and 10, they go jet sweep, as it's a 1-yard run for Jermaine Dingle on that one. 2nd and 9, I formation. Pitch goes out to Jennings. He's got blocks around that left side. Touchdown, Coyotes! 13-yard touchdown run for Tyrone Jennings, as this team is now over 100 yards on the ground, and they have nearly tied up the ball game. They got to get the extra point, though. It's 21-21, folks. 4:50 left in the third. As Tom Flacco to throw, he connects with Bogan. That's going to be a 6-yard gain, brought down by Ronnie Hansen. 2nd and 4, man in motion. As Flacco play action, looks to throw to the far side, nearly intercepted. Dustin Jordan had his hands on it. That could have been another pick six. 3rd and 4 here. As Flacco looks to run, he's not going to pitch it, and he goes down. Richard Cruz on the tackle. That is going to bring up 4th, and they got a punt. As Sanford takes back over. It's a loss of 1 here for Tyrone Jennings to start. Drake Spears with the tackle. 2nd and 11 as Fleming gets the handoff again, and look at the power on display. You folks at home listening to the broadcast may not have been able to see it, but the power on display today of Claude Fleming is absolutely wonderful. As another handoff goes to Fleming, he fights off another would-be tackle. May only be a gain of 4, but he fought for it, averaging 7 yards per carry right now. 2nd and 6, Tyrone Jennings with the handoff, and that is a first down, gain of 11. The run game is alive on this drive. 1st and 10 is Patrick to throw. He's going to roll out and take off, it looks like. Go out of bounds for a gain of 4. Not going to try and risk anything. As Duran Costello, the man in motion on 2nd down. Tyrone Jennings in the ball game, and they'll hand off to Jennings out of the shotgun. It's a 7-yard gain and enough for the first down as he went off tackle. Good blocking by Costello. As 1st and 10, looks like they're setting up another screen. It's Fleming. Couldn't spin the man off of him. That's going to be a loss of 2. As this offense didn't lose many yards there to begin on this drive. Now they lose 2. They got to fight to get those 2 back and get another big first down. Man in motion's Clarence Wares. The handoff goes to Fleming. He's trying to find some room but can't find much. That's only going to be a gain of 1. 3rd and 11 coming up. 3rd and 11, and this will be the last play of the third quarter, folks. Patrick to throw. He had Rob Thomas, but off his hands. He just couldn't haul it in. That's a play Thomas has to make, as that will take us to the end of the third. It's all tied up, 21 apiece. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Dope those 4s at home, because the fourth quarter is coming up after this. Welcome back, everyone, as a field goal by Jackson Stone is what we join, as that is a good field goal by Stone. It was quite the long one, and Stone just over the crossbar. Great kicking by Stone. He's been wonderful in his freshman season. 1st and 10 is Flacco to throw now. It's intercepted, Flash Gibson! He's going to put the Jets on display as he gets tackled down at the 1. Nearly a second pick 6. I hope that Tanner Patrick doesn't want to tie up Flacco on interceptions right now, because we don't need another one, as a great pick there by Gibson, immediately getting the ball back. 1st and goal is up and over goes Tanner Patrick. Didn't expect that immediately. That is a touchdown, Sanford. Tanner Patrick, the 5'11", 195-pound quarterback, goes up and over for a big touchdown. 31-21, and the fourth quarter has really just begun as a screen there for Anton Curtis goes for 14. Sanford now, though, with a 2-possession lead. They now have to keep this and defend it. As Flacco to throw here at a shotgun on first down. It's to Stanley. That's going to be complete for a 6-yard gain over the middle. 2nd and 4 now as the no-huddle continues here for Flacco and company. As he connects with Keyshawn Watson. And Watson bounced off of one tackle, gets powered down by Sam Moore. Good tackle by the young corner. But a good day for Watson so far, nearing 100 yards. Another 1st and 10 throw. Flacco trying to get away. He does so, and it'll be a first down as he was sandwiched, but gets 14. 1st and 10 here. Flacco still trying to run this no huddle. He'll take the snap. Looks to throw, and that one's deflected. That was Ronnie Hansen, the senior, making a big play there. 2nd and 10, Flacco connects with Young, and he's going to get brought down after a 9-yard gain. Sam Moore on the tackle. 3rd and 1 here. As Flacco hands off. No, it's an option, and he's brought down immediately. That is Keon Cutler on the tackle. We haven't called his name much. We haven't seen a lot of him. He's one of the backup safeties. But a great play by Cutler there. Plays a little bit of a hybrid linebacker. 4th and 5 for Western Michigan as that is complete. Anton Curtis with a gain of 7. First down Broncos. 1st and goal from the 4. As Flacco takes the snap out of shotgun. And he can't connect with Stanley. That could have been picked. It was a pretty poor throw from Flacco. He shouldn't have thrown around a lot of white jerseys. As a handoff here on 2nd down, that's Bogan easy into the end zone. It's down to a 1-possession game as Western Michigan is going to make this a 3-point ball game. Coyotes back on offense as Tyrone Jennings takes off for a gain of 3 there. As that's not much, but he's had a solid day so far. 4.4 yards per carry. As Fleming gets the next handoff, that's going to be a gain of 4 for him as he gets brought down after running off tackle. 3rd and 3, and I would assume they're keeping this one on the ground. And indeed they do. Fleming, but he's brought down immediately. They knew exactly where that was going, and Drake Spears was all over it. It's up to the defense here with 4.5 remaining. Flacco to throw. He connects with Watkins. And that is a big play. It's another situation where there was just miscommunication. A big first down into Coyotes territory at around the 45. Flacco to throw. He connects with Bogan, and a big hit sending Bogan out of bounds. Only a gain of 2 as the no-huddle continues. 2nd and 8 is Flacco to throw. Connects with Anton Curtis. He's got room down to the 20. A 23-yard reception. As it's 1st and 10 from right in front of the red zone. Bogan takes the handoff. He bounces off one tackle, and that's going to be a gain of 8. This is where it gets worrisome, folks. 2nd and 2 as the no-huddle continues. Flacco hands off to Bogan. He is stuffed, though. No gain there as Deshaun Hollis brings him down. 3rd and 2 now. And I would assume the pressure's coming, and indeed it is as the option gets shut down. Hollis pulls down Flacco for a loss of 4. It's 4th and 5. They bring out the field goal unit. As the kick is up. It's no good. Wide left. 1st and 10 for Sanford. They have to kill clock. That's it. As a 4-yard run for Claude Fleming here. 2 first downs. will kill this ball game. 2nd and 6. As we're about to reach the 2-minute mark. Tyrone Jennings with a handoff. And he's going to be close to the marker. It's a 3-yard gain. He'll be 3 yards short. 3rd and 3 with 2:02. Handoff goes to Fleming. He powers his way through. First down, Sanford. They need one more first down. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Bradford. He finds room. That's going to be a nice gain of 7 for the fullback. 2nd and 3. Pistol formation. Handoff. And no, it's an option. Patrick slides. First down, Sanford. Game over. In what was a much closer game than I think it should have been, the Sanford Coyotes come out on top. A nice day for Claude Fleming, a total of 110 yards from scrimmage and a big touchdown. It might have only been 1 yard, but it was big nonetheless. A very back and forth day for Tanner Patrick. 2 interceptions, both not pretty. But he did show up when they just went to a much more easy run game. So he did what he needed to do in the run game, and the defense kept the lead. That was the key factor. They fought, and the missed field goal, thank God, whoever you wish to pray to, that Western Michigan missed that field goal. But nonetheless, Sanford wins. They got 9 wins on the season, folks. They may not be going to a championship game, but they will be going to a bowl game, and we'll be covering what game they'll be going to in the next edition of the Howler. It will be a bowl week edition next time we see you here on the Sanford Sports Radio. I've been Jonathan West, your final once again from Kalamazoo. 31-28, Sanford pulls off the victory. We will see you folks come bowl week.